This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
The Heel Pop wants to know, does JR have any quirky pregame rituals before going live on the air for TV or pay-per-view?
Well, I usually run the bleachers for a couple of hours wearing nothing but a loincloth. Let me see. I used to have more than I do now. I always have a red folder with me. I keep my format sheets in a red folder. I've been doing that for many decades, actually. And it's kind of like your deal. It's the crimson folder.
There you go.
You get it. And the Sooners are crimson and cream. And so I do that. It's just habit. But anything else, in the last couple of years, since I finally understood how to partially utilize my new iPad, I listen to music sometimes. And I got me some of those fancy Dan, as Jim Duggan would say, fancy Dan earbuds.
There you go.
Yeah, man, I'm farting through silk, baby. Got me some serious ass earbuds. So we have a little trailer, announcer's trailer there at Daly's place, and that's where I'm sequestered most of the time. And I listen to music. Or podcast or something. But generally it's music. And you're going to say, well, what music do you listen to?
That's right.
Of course, right? I listen to a lot of classic rock. Stones. I listen to Heart. What else do I listen to? Almost all the old classic stuff. Once I learned how to download the music into my device, I kind of went crazy.
There you go.
So it's music's a good thing. And then in Jacksonville, in the trailer that I utilize, they have a big screen TV in it. I mean, big ass TV. And I listen. I go back on the TNT app and watch last week's show.
Okay.
And that always helps kind of refresh what we said, or I didn't say, and just get you back in that mold. So that's kind of the deal. But I don't do anything really abnormal. I used to have a thing where, and I got kidded about it a lot, but my one tradition I had was the night before a pay-per-view, I always had a bowl of French onion soup.
Really?
Yeah. Without fail. And I use it more. I thought it was being therapeutic. It tastes good. I like French onion soup, but it's good for your throat. So the more hot things I can consume, hot tea.
Yeah, that's
soup.
what I'm going to ask. We've heard a lot about people who use a vocal performance that they need some sort of tea or something like that. We heard you gut through a pretty tough day at the most recent AEW pay-per-view. Were you trying to load up that day with a bunch of hot tea, or what's the process like?
I had no issues until I went on the air. None. I didn't have a sore throat. I never had a sore throat. I know it was disconcerting to a lot of people, my voice. I apologize for that. Here's the deal. Next door to the Daly's place is the Jag Stadium.
Right.
TIAA Bank Stadium. And they were having monster trucks.
All weekend. You were there. Yeah.
And the air was dirty, dusty. The yellow pollen, which I'm definitely just big time allergic to. So between the pollen and the dust and the cool weather, it got me. I never was any pain. I was a pain to your ears, probably. So I just started, once that started coming on, I drank a lot of hot tea. So, and it goes back to another adage. If you're going to do a 3 or 4 hour show, always wear darks. It's kind of like that NASCAR deal. When I was a little kid, I used to always wonder, when do these drivers pee? You got to pee sometime. I figured it all out finally, but that's kind of where you are in this scenario. I drank so much liquid that I was challenging my bladder. But that's the price you pay, Conrad, if you're a team man. You got to do what you got to do. So, that was the hot tea is the way to get around. It's not drinking water for me. It's drinking it warm. And sometimes I just drink hot water.
Right.
And, it helps me get through it. So that was the deal on that thing. And then within a few days, or a few minutes, by the time that show was over, I was okay. Seemingly better anyway.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to Grillin' JR with the voice of wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross. Jim, how are you, man?
I'm good, Conrad. Hope you are too. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. We got a lot of your questions. A lot of questions here. We're going to try to get through as many as possible. And if we don't get to yours, then blame Conrad and his team, not me. I'm kidding. We'll get through as many as we can. And I like these shows. Conrad and I were talking before we started recording. These are fun shows to do because it kind of gives us a pulse what you guys are thinking and what you're interested in. So we'll try to have some fun with this thing too. So it's been what a week. God almighty.
Several weeks. You and I guess we should give a peek behind the curtain. We actually recorded last week's show before the big AEW pay-per-view. And I traveled down to Jacksonville, and we had an opportunity to record some very special bonus stuff for adfreeshows.com. How'd you feel about that stuff we put together, Jim?
Oh, it's great. I think it'll be one of the coming off the heels of your interview with Jimmy Crockett, which I watched in its entirety. And congratulations to you and everybody involved. It was just really a phenomenal piece of business. Loved it. Encourage everybody to watch it if you can. It's a history lesson. It's a history class.
Yes.
From somebody that was there and was writing that history with Jimmy Crockett. And I enjoyed what he said about me because he didn't knock me. He said I worked hard.
Yep.
I always was honest to him. And that was very self-gratifying, to say the very least, that he would have remembered that I was always loyal and hardworking. I don't need a pat on the back on it. It's what you should do. That's your job. You do good. That was good. The stuff that we taped, can we say who's on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Conrad rented an Airbnb about 88 miles from Jacksonville. And I had a Eastern European Uber driver that took us 2 hours to get to Conrad's place. So needless to say, Red Ass JR was there. And then we had a couple of cocktails, settle things down a little bit. But it was Conrad, of course, at the head of the table, Shivani, Bischoff, myself. Anybody else? That's it, right?
Eric Bischoff, Tony Schiavone, and Jim Ross, man. Who else do you need?
Nobody. And we had a big table, big community, like lunch table, dinner table, whatever. And we just shot the breeze. Conrad kind of pitched it out there and kept us between the lines. It may have been, well, I'll just correct that. It was the most fun thing I've done on the Ad Free Network.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was the most fun thing I've done. And people are going to say, oh, they were all drunk. Well, we weren't all drunk. We were drinking. But it was just one of those deals where you just get enough booze in you that it kind of loosens everybody up. And, nobody was falling down, or there was no fighting, or, we just had fun. We laughed. It's more laughter than anything else. We laughed at our own shit. And it was just funny. It's just entertaining as hell. So I don't know when that's going to drop. I don't know what it's going to be called. But when it happens, I really encourage you guys to watch. You'll laugh your butt off. You'll hear some information that's probably going to be new, quite frankly, because we covered everything, and it was just a blast. I was really glad to be a part of that, Connie.
It was outstanding. You stole the show, and Eric Bischoff says it's the funniest thing he's ever been involved in wrestling. He couldn't catch his breath while we were recording. Tony Schiavone had to take his glasses off and wipe the tears away from laughing so hard. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's coming out in April on adfreeshows.com. And then as we march towards WrestleMania starting next week, I guess we can go ahead and reveal here. We've got alternate commentary from you and Tony Schiavone calling some of WrestleMania's most iconic matches. That's going to be a pretty fun experience for fans who want to go relive some of those major WrestleMania moments, is it not?
Yeah, we did a little commentary, a little play-by-play. Tony and I did. And we did Savage and Steamboat. I think we did Lesnar and Undertaker. And the ladder match from WrestleMania 10 was Michaels and Razor. And there's play-by-play in it. It's hard to do it. We recorded here at my house, both sitting on my couch. So we didn't have headphones. It's hard to do play-by-play if you can't hear yourself. But we did the pieces of business justice. Tony and I laughing and doing commentary and being serious for a while and trying to call the action and all that good stuff. So it was really fun. I had a lot of fun doing it, quite frankly. It was just, I hope folks will enjoy it. I think they will.
It's going to be a great WrestleMania tradition that we're going to try to build. And of course,
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.